It's Sunday, September 3rd, 2023. Today I want to talk about a few things, and feel free to comment down below about anything you want to comment about. But I'm going to start with this. Last night I was watching a couple of videos, and you've probably watched some of these videos too, where they take you back in time. And in this case, in this video, it was Southern California in 1953. And when you watch these videos, you begin to realize just how far America has fallen and how much it has slipped over the past few decades. And when I was watching these videos last night, looking at the beaches, the beaches were so clean, they were pristine. From LA County to Orange County to San Diego County, absolutely pristine beaches. No longer today. The cities, no graffiti. The people, men wearing suits, sport coats, ties, women wearing dresses. It was just, it's unbelievable to think where we were back then and where we're at today, where people walk around in slippers. They walk around in their pajamas. They literally walk around in their underwear. They don't even care. But it really made me think, watching this video last night, just how beautiful the state of California was back in 1953 and how people took pride in their appearance, their physical condition. You barely saw any obesity when you saw people walking around in the cities, people at the beaches, people riding on public transportation, people shopping. People were in shape. And it just was really shocking to see where we are today and how far we've fallen, where graffiti's everywhere, trash everywhere, tents everywhere, homeless people everywhere, people 80, 100 pounds overweight, taking no sense of pride in themselves, not worrying about their health. And this isn't judging or criticizing anybody because they're overweight. If you are, you can change that today. You can change today if you care. A lot of people just really don't care. And we have such an obesity epidemic in America, and so many people are going to die early because they're not taking care of their health. Your body was not meant to be 50 or 100 or 300 pounds overweight. That's just a fact. But looking at the cities and the people, it's an eye-opener. It really, really is, to see how beautiful California was. And I've watched videos of other cities too, and they were pristine. But being here in Southern California and looking at it today, they showed even the trains, the railways. Now today, all the railroad cars are completely spray painted, vandalized, graffitied, just a mess. And probably more than 50% of LA is got spray paint all over it. But you didn't see homeless people, you didn't see tents, you didn't see trash everywhere. You saw people who took pride in their appearance, people who took pride in their own cities. It looked much safer, it looked much more prosperous, and it's a real wake-up call, because I don't think we really realize how far we've fallen, because we're really callous to things. We're callous to all the crime, we're callous to the violence, we're callous to all the graffiti and all the garbage on the freeways and in the cities. And so when you go back into the 50s and you time travel back to 1953 and you see how beautiful these cities were and how people took care of themselves, and you compare it to today, shocking. It really, really is. I mean, I could go out today, probably go to a Walmart and see a half a dozen people walking around in their slippers and pajamas right now. Really, really a sad state of affairs. We have really fallen socially. I watched another video. It was a McDonald's. I don't know what state this was, but it was a McDonald's, 1984. And again, shocking. I kid you not, there were 20 people working behind the counters, cashiers, cooks, people delivering the food, 20 people. And it's hard to believe that back in the day, McDonald's wasn't too bad, and it wasn't the terrible food that it is today. I'm not saying it was the healthiest food or the greatest food, but you could actually eat McDonald's, and it was actually a treat back in the 80s. Wasn't all this, processed soybean, whatever type of food it is today. But whatever it was, it tasted a lot better back then. I don't think it was as dangerous to eat back then at McDonald's as it is now. But again, looking at the restaurant, pristine. Looking at the people working in the restaurant, they had little ties on. The cashiers, literally, this McDonald's had 5 cashiers, all wearing hats, little ties. They had ladies walking around cleaning the tables, people behind there actually cooking the burgers. This is back when McDonald's actually cooked the burgers. And I just think about, how far we have really fallen. Back in the day, and maybe you'll disagree with this, but I remember back in the early 80s when you could go to a Taco Bell as a kid. It was a treat to go to a Taco Bell. You'd walk into a Taco Bell, it smelled so good. The restaurants were so clean. The food was actually really good. Taco Bell's horrible now. Same thing with McDonald's. You went to a McDonald's, it was a treat. It smelled good. It was clean. It was good service. The burgers were probably twice the size that they are now. And I was looking at the menu. Cheeseburger, 55 cents. I don't even know what they cost now. But what a different time, ladies and gentlemen. 1984, 1953, what a different time. Socially, quality of food, the restaurants, the condition of our infrastructure in our cities. What a different time. And unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to go back to that. And just looking at the people back, even in 1984, they looked so much healthier than they do now in 2023. A couple articles I'm going to share with all of you today. Comment down below if you've seen any of these videos, if you've noticed how far and how fast this country is falling. Comment down below. Iconic North Carolina furniture maker shutters, leaving more questions than answers. Mitchell Gold and Bob Williams, that's the name of the furniture company. This is a high-end furniture company, ladies and gentlemen. Hundreds of employees are now out of a job. It didn't say specifically how many, but it said hundreds. This is on Fox Business. These employees got very little notice and really no explanation to why this company closed. The high-end furniture maker abruptly shut down last week. It's been in business for over 3 decades. And they just closed the door, leaving hundreds of people without a job, without an explanation, without an answer. Hundreds of people now don't have a job. And it seems daily we're reading stories like this, hundreds here, thousands here, losing their jobs. How about we don't really hear about small businesses, the small mom and pop businesses that may employ 5 or 10, maybe 15 people. And, they have to cut 5 people. They have to cut 2 people. All this is adding up. There's no way that unemployment is 3.8% like they're telling us. Absolutely no way. So when I read an article like this and you look at a company that's been around for over 30 years, a high-end furniture company, how can this happen with such a prosperous, booming economy? 24 showrooms across the country closing. Hundreds of people losing their jobs. And then you have to think about what's happening to the entire furniture industry now in America as people are not buying homes. Home sales have absolutely crashed. We have the average worker now in America, 61% working paycheck to paycheck. Who in the world is going out and buying furniture? So over the past year and a half, the furniture industry has been down, and it's going to continue to go down. And we're going to probably see more of these furniture manufacturers, more of these companies that sell furniture. We're going to probably see more of these stores closing. The hedge, visualizing the monthly cost of buying versus renting a house in America. The U.S. is now witnessing the biggest numerical gap in the monthly cost between owning a home and renting in over 50 years. In August, mortgage rates rose to the highest level in 23 years, right about 7.5%. Median rent is approximately $1,850 per month. The median mortgage is $2,700 per month. So renting now is 30% cheaper than buying. Mortgage applications are at their lowest point in 20 years, yet people are going to tell me that the housing market is healthy, that the housing market's going to go back to some sort of normal, that the housing market is going to avoid a housing crash. I think you're out of your mind. Here's a couple things that that I think we all have to think about when you rent versus purchasing a home. When you purchase a home, you're going to have to insure that home, and insurance costs is going up. There's things called HOAs. Those HOAs have been skyrocketing. There's things called maintenance. There's things called property taxes, also going up. You're also obligated to that mortgage for 30 years unless you sell the property. What if you get a job tomorrow that says you've got to move out of state, or there's an opportunity somewhere else that's farther away? You've got to sell your house. What now if you cannot sell your house? Where people now have these low mortgage rates, don't want to sell because they're going to get a high mortgage rate. What if you want to sell and there's just no qualified buyers to buy your home? You're stuck. As opposed to if you're renting, you're not obligated to a 30-year mortgage. If you want to move, I don't know if you signed a 1-year lease or if you're going monthly or whatever, you would give your notice, or you would just have to ride out that lease till it ended, but you're not obligated for 30 years. So, or you buy it out, which is a lot easier than trying to sell a house for $500,000 or $700,000 or $800,000. You're much more obligated and tied down when you have a mortgage versus renting. So that's something that I think a lot of people need to think about. And right now it's cheaper, 30% on average cheaper to rent than to own. Now, shifting gears here. A lot of news, I'm sure a lot of you have been reading about this or have seen videos or watched it on the news. Is what's happening out at Burning Man. It is, I guess I will say, unfortunate. I'm not a fan of Burning Man. There's a lot of Satanism that goes on there. It's no place I would ever be. I'm not going to judge anybody. That's up to you, or you want to go, or you want to spend your free time. I will never set foot in a place like that. But, we look at all these fires, we look at all this flooding. Now we have Burning Man. That is a giant mud pit. Access to it has been closed. Vehicles are stuck. They said the mud is shin deep, inch of water in every tent. People are running out of drinking water. They're running out of food. And this is becoming a bit of a problem. And I believe temperatures are beginning to drop at night also. But you have roughly 73,000 people trapped out in the BLACKROCK desert of Nevada, 3 hours north of Reno. And it's literally impossible to get in, and it's literally impossible to get out. And food and fuel is running out, temperatures dropping. Rain, I believe, hit Saturday morning. And this was a giant lake at one point, and it's a giant, just like a giant pit now of alkaline, and this massive lake bed that when the water hits it and all this dust begins to get wet, they said it gets very sticky on your skin, and it begins to burn, like a chemical burn. And so a lot of people now are having reactions to the dust, because now it's turned into mud, it's all over people, and it's drying and sticking on them, and they're feeling like they're having chemical burns. The airport, Black Rock City, is closed. The conditions look horrible, but I've watched a few videos on it. Again, I'm not a fan of this, but maybe it's God beginning to warn people in this little mini Sodom and Gomorrah out there. And again, I'm not judging anybody. If you want to go to Burning Man and be a burner, you do whatever you want to do. I think it's very demonic. I think that it's not a place where good people should be. And we're beginning to see so much happening with the fires and the floods. And maybe some of it's man-made, maybe some of it's from God. But at the end of the day, God's allowing it to happen. And when I see this little mini Sodom and Gomorrah out in the desert getting flooded out, how quickly people begin to get scared, how quickly people begin to realize they're not prepared, and how quickly God can really begin to get angry and begin to show us things that are going to happen. And I do believe that we as a nation have really turned our back on God. And I do believe that this country, if it does not change very, very soon. It is going to be judged, and we're going to see a serious reckoning in this country. And I believe right now we're just beginning to go through some pain, and it's going to get much, much worse. So, when I watch things like this at Burning Man and I see what's happening, to me, it's just another signal. It's just another reminder of how quickly things can change. It's another reminder how quickly God can get angry. It's how quickly we better be prepared for events. And so let me know your thoughts on that. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I don't ever remember this happening at a Burning Man. And maybe God is just getting sick and tired of all this, and it's coming to a point, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that the rest of this country is going to see some huge events taking place too. And I think one of the biggest events that we're going to see, not just these disasters of floods and fires, but I think the biggest one, my opinion, I think the biggest disaster that America is going to see is going to be an economic disaster. And I think that is going to bring people to their knees. And when you don't have money, you can't eat. People say, oh, it's not always about the money. Don't love money. I don't love money, okay? But money gives you freedom. Money keeps you alive. Money pays the bills. Money buys food. Money buys security. Money can even buy freedom. And so it's not the love of money, but you got to have money to survive. If you're dead broke and you got to go to the hospital, you're not going to get the same treatment as somebody that has money. And that's just the way it is. And so it isn't about greed and the love of money and worshiping money. It's about having enough money so that you have safety, so that you have freedom, so you can pay your bills, so that you're not evicted, that your car's not repossessed, so that your business doesn't go under, so that your kids don't starve, so that you don't become homeless. That's why you need money. Money means, maybe you can take better transportation, not ride a subway, and deal with all the crime. You have to think about where we're at today, and you have to think about the importance of having some money right now and building a war chest and building some capital and having assets. If you don't have money, you can't buy assets. You need money to buy assets. Money pays off the house. Money pays the taxes on that house. You don't pay the taxes, you know what happens. You lose the house. So, I'm just thinking this weekend, my goal is, to keep putting money away. Keep building that war chest. Keep buying some assets. Keep buying the gold. Keep buying the silver. I'm hoping to buy a nice ranch when one becomes available. We are in a very, very weird real estate market right now, and things are very, very stagnant. And so until things move, I'm sitting here and I'm just going to keep putting money away. It's all I can do. I'm going to close with this last article coming from The Hedge. Let me know what you think about this whole Burning Man thing. Are you a fan of it? What do you think about it? Is it a demonic group or a demonic type ceremony where thousands of people show up? I think a lot of people that go there don't even really know what's going on. I've watched a lot of people talk about in videos where they went there and they came back and they felt that something very dark had taken over their lives. They felt like something had gotten into their spirit, possession. So you don't know when you're going to these places what you're putting yourself, what kind of threats you're putting yourself into as far as the spiritual realm. And so you have a lot of demonic stuff going on at Burning Man. And if you're not really a solid Christian, this stuff can take hold, onto your spirit, because you don't have a spirit being protected by God. And so these things are going to seek those people out when they go to events like that. And good, Christian people probably aren't going to Burning Man, I hope. This is no place for a Christian, I will tell you that. But again, I'm not here to judge. I pray for these people. Many of them, again, don't even know why they're there, what's going on, and many do. And so it's just, again, it's just another time here with spiritual warfare. Hey, this is fun, it's innocent, nothing's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, you have a very, very dark feeling. You now have some type of possession going on. And I seriously do believe, I'll be very upfront with all of you, I do believe in spiritual warfare. I do believe in God. I do believe in the devil. And I totally believe in possession. And the devil is a very, very powerful entity. And anybody that doubts that has no idea what they're dealing with. And that's the thing. People just don't, many people do. You look at the people in Hollywood and in music, they tap into this energy, this dark energy, because they understand the power of it. And many people don't. And they get fooled and they get tricked and they get possessed. But we know that we can tap into the most powerful energy, the most powerful light in the entire universe, and that is God, the man upstairs, the most powerful energy. And why more of us are not doing that? Here is a tool, here is an asset that costs absolutely nothing. I don't want to go on a rant here, but people are always asking for advice. What can I do? I have no money. Tap into the most powerful energy in the entire universe. That is God. That is God upstairs. That is absolutely 100% free. It is the most powerful tool beyond any other, and you could do it today for absolutely no cost. And I know somebody will probably write and say, "I'm trying to sell something. I'm trying to sell something." Absolutely not. This is the most powerful energy that you can tap into, and why people are not doing that, I don't know. And yet people will tap into the dark energy, and they're going to pay the price at the very end because they know, well, they don't know, but they're going to know when they get there, and it's called hell. I'll close with this last article. Don't mean to rant about that, but it's, we are in spiritual warfare, and I believe everybody's soul is so important, and you've got to protect your soul. You've got to protect your spirit. There's a lot of evil out there, and this, where we're at right now, this world is very, very temporary. Think about, how many years have passed, how quick, 10 years, boom, like that, 20 years, boom, like that, 30 years, boom, like that. We are not going to be here forever. You've got to know where you're going after this. And so I'm not a perfect human being. I'm no angel by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm trying to improve my life every day. I'm trying to walk closer to God every day, and I ask God every day for direction. And yet I'm not perfect, but I'm telling you, tap into that energy because we're all going to need it. The real shocker in Friday's jobs report, 1.2 million native-born workers lost their jobs and were replaced with 668,000 foreign-born workers. It shocks me that so many people believe that their pensions are going to be there for them when they retire. It even shocks me more that they even believe that their jobs are going to be there for them. Nobody's job right now is immune. I think that if you have a good job, do everything you can to keep it, but we're going to see so many jobs replaced by technology, robotics. We're going to see jobs replaced from people coming from other parts of the world. They're going to do it for a much lower price. Just go to a Walmart, go to a Lowe's, go to a Home Depot, look at the self-checkout, go to a grocery store, self-checkout. They are trying to get rid of people. And so we're going to have a lot of people here in America who are going to need jobs. They're not going to have jobs. Jobs are going to get harder and harder to find, especially good jobs. And how are people going to eat? We have, nearly 340 million people in this country that we know of. And we have a lot of people that we don't know of and more people coming. How is everybody going to eat? What is everybody going to do for a job? Not everybody can work in a warehouse. Not everybody can work in the medical sector. Not everybody is going to be able to work at a hotel. What is everybody going to do to feed themselves? I have no idea. But these are questions I'm asking myself. So getting ready to head out to Texas in a couple days. Should be a good trip. Hopefully we'll be able to meet some of you. And really, it's going to be, we really need to talk about solutions and how to prepare for what has begun and what is coming. We can talk all day about how bad things are, how broken things are, but we really need to talk about solutions. Are you getting in better physical shape? Are you walking closer to God? Are you building up a capital reserve, that war chest? What are you doing today to make yourself better? People will complain that this is broken, that's broken, my politician's not doing anything, the president's not doing anything, I hate my bank, I hate where I live. What are you doing about it? Those things are completely out of control at this point, and there's nothing we can do about it. But what can you do today to make your life better? What can you do to protect yourself financially? What can you do to protect yourself physically? You know, a lot of people will make videos, and I look at these people, and they don't look, and you probably know too, I mean, they don't look like they're really prepared for a Mad Max apocalypse. You know, I look at people and I go, you know, is this the guy I would really want with me, you know, if things really hit the fan? Does this guy really know how bad things can get? Does this guy have the skills to survive? Can this guy, you know, get through a bad day? Does this guy, you know what's happening, you know, economically to the country? Does he have food and water put away? Can he protect his family? Can he protect his food and water? Will he? You know, again, a lot of people can, you know, talk the big game, and they have, you know, all the answers to everything. But I look at these people and I go, man, that person just does not look like they're going to do very well during a Mad Max apocalypse. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, I know looks can sometimes be deceiving, but don't you question sometimes, you know, a lot of these people, what they're really going to do if the lights went out, when they're telling us, you know, giving us all the answers? And I'm thinking, I don't think that person's going to last 24 hours. I really, really don't. But again, maybe looks are deceiving. But I think we're going to go to Texas. We're going to do some training. We're going to be doing some interviews. We're going to be eating some barbecue. We're going to spend a little bit of time on the lake. We're going to decompress a little bit. We're going to talk about solutions. You know, we're going to do a little working out, a little training at the range, and just to make ourselves a little bit better. God bless every one of you. Have a phenomenal weekend. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Who knows how much more people in the labor force will continue to lose their jobs. You know, I just don't have words to describe how bad things are going to get, ladies and gentlemen. We are heading into a Mad Max situation here, and it's already begun. It's not coming. It's begun. And you need to get prepared yesterday. God bless. Talk to all of you very, very soon.